the nest sort of came to be because I had this idea. We have a lot of things, certain Sims that were special for clothes or poses or things like that, and we used to have a home and garden Sim for a very brief time, and then it sort of folded very quickly due to real life problems with the owner. And I really enjoyed it. I had a good time on the other home and garden Sim, and I'd wanted to do another. And two things sort of came together at the same time. That and then a friend of mine was leaving SL and had a Sim free and said, "Do you want it? Pay the transfer fee." And I said, "Oh, I'll take that." And so it all kind of happened overnight. He sent me an IM, the Sim transferred within 12 hours, and we started building the nest. We didn't even know the nest was going to be named the nest because we put it in there as a placeholder. But the Sim transfer went through so quickly, we didn't have a chance to change it.
It's a great name, though.
I think it works, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, the idea of the nest is not for people to have their main stores there. They're more like little tasters, aren't they, of what their products are.
That's right. We do have a couple of bigger stores, and we have one big main store, which is Elle's store. Her main store takes up, I don't know, probably about a sixth of the Sim. It's quite large.
For now. Just wait. I'm slowly going to creep.
She has designs on the rest of Shagville at the moment. But yeah, Elle is the only big main store. We have a few small stores that don't have other locations that are on the nest, but they're not really as big as Elle's giant store.
I'm gonna rebrand to that too. Elle's giant store.
And so we have Pitch Parks, who owns Urbanized. He has a huge store there, which is amazing. It's the abandoned factory, if you ever go and have a look. And then we have a couple other bigger ones as well, but for the most part, we do have another main store on the main street, which is RC Cluster.
Well, we ought to explain, in case people haven't been to the nest, and why haven't you been to the nest, that
for shame.
It's actually themed. It's got a very strong theme.
It does. We wanted to have a town. We wanted to have something people could walk around. Something that was sort of... It actually was because of the AM radio Sims. When they disappeared, it was kind of a sad time in SL. I really loved the AM radio Sims, and I wanted not to recreate them, but to do something sort of in the same idea, sympathy, and do a town, which is what I've always wanted. I'd love to have a big field, but, you know, with Elle's giant store, no, I'm kidding.
I would like to just say right now, she begged me to come there. I'm just going to put it out there on the table. She begged me. She said, "Elle, please, come put your giant barn on my land now." I just want to put that on the table.
Yeah. I snapped her up the second I knew she had to move, so I IM'd her right away. I knew that Elle would be perfect in where she is, so. But yeah,
you've actually got areas that aren't stores at all, that are just almost to complete the town. I mean, there's a church.
Yeah.
There's the garage. I love that garage.
So do I. And the diner and the park.
The diner opposite. Yeah.
And there's some areas that are fields.
Square. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done that presumably to give colour and also to give buffer space.
And it just is. It's more than just about shopping. It's actually about enjoying walking around and looking at a place. And we have a lot of people that take photographs or pictures and things. We do have a Flickr group. Sometimes people post things in there that they've taken pictures on the nest, and it's just nice to not always have shop. You can go and look around at different things.
Do you do kind of inward internal events like hunts and things, or use stories, role play within the sim?
We have done events. We've done a hunt, a couple of hunts actually, I think, and we've done. We had one sidewalk sale last summer for the opening, and we're going to have another one this summer, which nobody knows about yet. Hi guys, we're having a sidewalk sale.
Yay!
Noted.
There's the nest is going to be a year old in August.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
When I opened it, I fully expected it to fail.
Oh my gosh! Don't say that.
I just didn't realize that it would turn out to be as well, you know, when you get this idea
Shiny.
at 2
Right.
a.m. I didn't go into it expecting it to last this long and still keep going. We still have a waiting list for new spaces. I still get IMs and note cards. And I'm really, really grateful and happy that it is doing so well. But it seems to have been the community of designers on the Nest has sort of taken over the identity of the Nest.
Well, that's good in a way, because that gives it sustainability, I would think.
It does, yeah.
Because they've made a commitment to it.
They have.
And a great owner, I think, too.
I hope that people take an interest in what the sim is, because it's more than just a place to go shopping. It's kind of like the front window to your main store, and hopefully from there people will visit your store and get to know more about you.
Now, I'm going to turn to Elle, who clearly has ambitions to take over the whole. We will leave this.
Isla never goes to bed, so I haven't had the chance to execute my plan.
This is
One
true.
of these days.
Yeah, I have noticed this, because you're up almost as much as me, and that is tough. That is.
I am, yeah.
But Elle, as well as running your store Second Spaces, you have a couple of other big projects that you carry on with. You've got Spruce Up Your Space. You're one of the people behind Spruce Up Your Space. And you also have the Second Spaces blog, which is,
Right.
we talked about this the other day, which is not just a store blog for your store. You actually review and cover other people too, which is to a much greater extent than most store blogs do. I mean, most store blogs just have the energy to sort of say, I've made something new, here it is, look, and then run away until they make something else new and put it up there. But you have
read
this
my
kind
blog.
I think, most of us have to really kind of work hard to keep our blogs going. But you seem to have the energy to write about other people, and that's fantastic.
Well, that makes it sound much more successful than I feel I actually am. But yes, I do enjoy certainly just well, I say reviewing, but I don't mean that in the true sense of the word when we think about blog reviews. But okay, I like talking about other great designs from around the grid. So yeah, I mean, certainly I do get a lot of things sent to me, which is awesome, and I love to show those things off. I know I've said it before because it feels like I talk to you all the time, Saffia, in this forum, but I mean, I at Second Spaces certainly don't make everything, and there's plenty of people who make things I don't think, and there's a ton of people who make things much better than I do. And so really my initial goal before I even had a shop when I started the blog was I wanted people to know about the great stuff that's out there, because, you know, interiors and houses are just something I'm very passionate in both lives. So once I found my way into Second Life and realized, oh my goodness, there are some people doing amazing, amazing work, I wanted to make sure everybody knows about it. So I'm glad that I've been able to do that. And you know what I just realized the other day? My blog is like 5 years old. More than 5 years old.
Wow.
I know. I totally missed my own blog birthday. But yeah, I think it was March of this year was 5 years. So 5 years that I've been able to share the great stuff that I find with folks. So
That really is impressive.
I was surprised.
Yeah. I was thinking of when I first came into Second Life, the blog that really got me interested in Second Life and shopping and all sorts of things was the, what was it called? Linden Lifestyles.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And that went, and I think there must be very few that have actually sustained it that long. I think that's incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
And, you know, always a good read.
Thanks. I'm glad to hear that.
But as well as doing that and running the store and plotting to take over the nest, you also run a project called Spruce Up Your Space. Can you tell us something about that?
Absolutely. Now, Spruce Up Your Space is like 2.5 years old, which kind of blows my mind. It was created sort of a joint effort between me, Raven Hines of Mudhoney, and Amalicious Destiny of Alicious Designs. And actually, Raven and Amalicious approached me about it way back when, and basically they came to me saying, hey, we think that we want to do something that's a regular shopping event for Home and Gardens, because at the time there really wasn't one. Certainly, 50 Linden Friday, which is just returned, but back then 2.5 years ago, it was a big shopping event every week, and certainly it would include Home and Garden items at times, but there just wasn't anything that was exclusively Home and Gardens, and we wanted to come up with something. So between the three of us, and we threw around all sorts of ideas about how to make this happen, and where we landed is the Spruce Up Your Space that you know today, which is a monthly shopping event. We have sort of a roster of designers that we pull from. Invite only. I'll say it up front, we're very picky and snobby about who we invite in. So we feel like we've pulled together a very great group of some of Second Life's top home and garden designers. We've extended it to texture designers as well, and also landscape designers. So it can be furniture, it can be houses, it can be landscape, it can be textures, and every month there's a theme, and we usually do 2 weekends a month just because we kind of like to split it up. There's usually the last 2 weekends of the month, whatever the theme is. For instance, this month our theme is summer vacation, and we give that theme to our designers and then they run with it. Whatever they want to do with it, they make it happen. So summer vacation, we just kicked off this month's Spruce Up Your Space this morning. So it'll run from this morning until tomorrow night. During the Spruce Up Your Space weekends, everything is 150 linden or below. So not only is it cool because you're getting fun stuff that designers have created specific to a theme, you're also getting a bargain. Because generally, what our designers come up with is A, super awesome, and B, worth way more than 150 linden. So it's just a really great way to sort of celebrate our home and garden designers, and also give our designers, something fun to do. And that's what I hear from a lot of our designers. It's really something fun for them. They like to hear what the theme is. It gives them a little bit of a challenge, and then of course they're able to let their imaginations just run wild. So that's a lot of fun. And then of course for the shoppers, certainly, like I said, it's a great bargain, and it's something that we've been very happy to see how well it's been received, that we get a lot of feedback, and we'll see it on Plurk, and we'll even see it pop up in the Spruce Up Your Space group where people are like, what's the theme? When's it happening? I need Spruce Up Your Space now. and that's what we like.
So what
I was
is the theme
paraphrasing.
this month?
It's summer vacation. Summer vacation. So like I said, we just kicked off this morning. Sorry.
Have you plotted out what July is going to be? I'm sure you're not going to give me a hint.
No, you are always asking me for themes, Saffia. Stop it. You know what? We haven't. In fact, what Raven and Amalicious and I did at the beginning of this year is we plotted out 6 months worth of themes all in one sitting. We were very proud of ourselves because usually at the beginning of each month we're scrambling trying to come up with something. Right, so it's been great because at the start of each month I knew exactly what I needed to communicate to the designers, and and our whole plan would fall into place. Well, now we're done with those 6 because it's June. So no, we don't have our next 6 yet.
So maybe we should suggest some here.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, I think there's some questions being asked in chat, and I'm totally missing them. Okay, Ula's got it. But yes, I mean, we're always open to suggestions for themes. I mean, some of them maybe can't be done, but we're certainly happy to listen to them.
Keenan wants to know... Keenan, can you actually hear me talking?
I don't know
she was
if...
asking if there was a guide to all the
Yeah.
places in Spruce Up Your Space.
In
which
Spruce?
There is
Okay.
a group.
No, I don't think it's Spruce Up Your Space. I think he
Oh.
actually
Or you think it's-
means
You think
SL9B.
SL9B? Okay.
Oh, right.
Um,
Okay.
Making, if you go to the welcome area,
Okay. Keyboards are going at it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I love how you and the turtle is just having a little dance over there. Ewan is like the
Or a fit.
pet. Yeah, or a fit. He's our little pet on the P. He's our sim
Right.
turtle.
he's
Our
very
scripter sim turtle.
Okay, so I was now going to turn to Ula, who I think has the most amazing name for a store. Why Funky Junk? Is it junk? Is it funky? Tell me. No, Ula isn't using voice. She's going to be typing, so you'll be reading what she has to say. And while she is, of course, we can carry on making comments.
Junk definitely includes a wide variety.
So you're actually aiming to produce elements of all of that. I can understand that. One of my favourite designers on the grid, and not a home and garden designer, although she has produced home and garden elements, but you wouldn't probably put them in a conventional home or garden, is Cutia Bonelli. I don't know if you know Grimm Brothers, any of you.
I do.
Cutia definitely designs just for herself. I can't think of any other designer who would have produced the plated peas avatar, for example, or Piccolo as an avatar.
Less stress to do it for yourself, though, isn't it?
Mm.
Not designing for other people, but for yourself is a nice, I think, liberating feeling.
I agree. And in fact, I think, Saffia, just when you posed that, I was sitting here thinking, I bet you all of us kind of do that.
I
Yeah.
think we do. If you build for the market that you think you're trying to target, you're not going to actually get anywhere. You'll end up making things you hate.
Yeah.
And the lack of love will show.
Yeah, well, there's so much
absolutely.
love that goes into this.
If you have to stare at something for hours and hours at a time, you want to at least like it a little bit.
Right.
But if you had an in-world home, Ula, you would be happy to live in one you've designed.
Maybe. After you spend 40 hours looking at something.
Yeah, you then want to go and buy a house by someone completely different.
Yes.
Or possibly
And in a
go and
totally
live in
different
Linden
style.
home. Yeah. Loz, if I can turn to you, and Ula, do go on typing, but I think it's probably we can talk as well as bring you in through your typing. Loz, I was going to ask you, you've come in from a sort of on a slightly different perspective. You've come in really because of mesh, haven't you? And
Yeah,
started
definitely.
working because of mesh.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I tried to make things with prims and was quite dissatisfied with my results. But yeah, since mesh has come in, I've been, happy as anything because that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years or so. And again, building things you enjoy doing is so much more fun to do than things for other people. I don't do much custom work at all, if any, maybe a few things only. There's so much love that goes into this stuff and so much time, but I can't justify the time for the amount I would charge for it.
Yes,
Going on to that
that's a
thing.
problem, doesn't it?
That's really. I mean, mesh is hard. It's not like it's not just placing prims. It's really an awful lot of work to divide up a mesh piece to extrude it and pull it out into different shapes and spend a lot of time. Then you have to UV it and then texture it and light it. It's so much work. It's just you have to do it for the love of it more than anything else. I mean, unless you can do things super fast, so doing custom work, if I spend over a day, it's just not worth it. Almost, to do custom work.
Yes, because people are going to want to pay Linden prices
Exactly.
rather than real prices.
Right. Yeah.
It's very difficult. Yeah, I can understand the amount of work that goes into creating something needs to earn its way in terms of cost, and yet one of the things I was most surprised with when I came in here was the costs seemed to me to be slightly skewed, because you could buy a house and you could certainly buy furniture for less than you paid for a dress.
They are very skewed in that respect, extremely skewed. I'm sure it takes a very long time to make a dress. I don't make clothing, so I don't know.
Right.
But
Skins too.
skins, yeah.
Crazy. I mean, they're cute, beautiful skins. I mean, I do a lot of texture work, but oh my God, to do something that realistic with the light and the shadows and the kind of sheen on the skin, amazing work. Red Grave, they did just an amazing job, and the price is just nowhere near really what you should be paying for it. I think it should be way more than that, really. The amount of work they do.
But then you pay less. You'll pay more for a skin than for some houses.
Absolutely.
you pay more, I think, for personal appearance than you do for the home and garden, which is not a reflection of how most people spend money in real life.
Right.
Yes, I think so, Grandma. It is a reflection of the skill that's needed to develop it, perhaps. But, you know, the home and garden market is not negligible in terms of the skills that are put in either.
No.
No,
Sorry. It may be a matter of just of demand as well. I'm not speaking from any actual facts. I'm just making this up as I go. But just as an observer, I mean, I still think, even today, even though Home and Garden in Second Life has become so much more in the forefront, it's still nothing compared to fashion. So I think people are much more willing to pay what they pay for a really pretty skin and gorgeous hair and gorgeous clothes. And then secondarily, they're like, oh, well, let me throw some linens at my house, too. So, I mean, I do think that some of it is truly just the demand.
I think
there's a long way to go. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Just quickly, I think there's a long way to go still with house design or house, the looks of houses, as the amount of work that's been done with, like you're saying, with skin and hair, you know, fashion. I don't think the attention to the details have been embraced that much with architectural work as it has to the other things. But I think now with mesh it can be, because we can bake lighting, you know, into our houses and make the sun coming through the windows and the shadows everywhere. And when you get in there, it's that experience and that feeling you get when you're inside somewhere. That's what's kind of exciting people now, I think. So there may be a shift at some point, I think.
I think also with the sort of popularity gaining of things like Flickr and Tumblr, taking photos of houses and decor and landscaping has really, really gone up in the last year or so. I've noticed a big difference.
Right.
There are also a lot more home and garden bloggers out there, whereas there used to not be hardly any.
Absolutely, yeah, and to your point about Flickr, not only do you see it on Flickr, but I think there's been an increase over the past 2 years or so of fashion bloggers who will occasionally do a post just to show off their house, or even if they're not showing off their house, they're integrating their favorite houses and furniture and other home and garden items into their pictures. So it's not just, hey, I'm here to show you fashion. It's, hey, let me show you this fashion, and oh, by the way, check out this really awesome chair I got from Cheeky Pea.
Yeah, it's definitely the picture of the blogger on the black or white background is sort of going by. It's now about the full image, and the full image is filled with our stuff.
Yay,
all
us.
of us.
Which is
Can you guys
nice.
hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Who just said that?
Ula.
Oh, hey, Lila.
My child has gone off to the other room, so I can actually
Welcome.
talk now.
Yay.
I once did a Designing Worlds where a designer who I will mercilessly keep as nameless, her child decided just as we started the show to have a very, very loud tantrum. Was about 2 years old, so we were trying to do the show with a 2-year-old screaming.
Oh my gosh.
So what we did in the end, we actually got her to write her answers down, and the producer read them out.
Oh, goodness.
So we knew roughly what we were going to talk about. So she wrote down her answers, and then I started the interview saying, "Oh gosh, I really love the way you've done this. This is absolutely stunning." And then my producer said, "Yes, I've been working with these artists for some time." And that was all okay until, I got so into this, I forgot that it was Matt Elise and not the designer. And I turned and said, "And I love that candlestick on the table. Tell me, how many prims are in that?" And I was aware that Matt Elise was just glowering at me because we hadn't planned to talk about the candlestick.
That's funny.
But yes, so I can appreciate changing circumstances.
Dog that's probably
So
about to start barking too.
I usually have my cat meowing. So where, all of you, do you think that the Second Life market will be going? And how do all of you feel about the possibility of, say, going to other worlds, taking your skills to other worlds, either as well, or if push came to shove?
I think a lot of people, I know on Plurk, have been talking about this thing that Facebook has launched. I'm not sure if everyone here has heard about it. It's called Cloud Party. Yes, that's right.
Oh, I tried Cloud Party yesterday.
It's pretty horrible, but it's still an alpha.
So was Second Life 9 years ago, probably.
True.
That is exactly true, but Cloud Party is being a bit ambitious in that they hope to remain a browser-based game.
Well, actually, no, it's funny because I got an email from Second Life to test out a browser-based Second Life, and it was kind of interesting. It worked, but it was small and you couldn't make it the size of your screen.
Yeah, well, I think you can make it quite large, but Cloud Party is, I've been playing with it a little bit, and you can upload Mesh to Cloud Party, and you will be able to have the ability to sell it on a marketplace style system. The thing I think that this may take off with where others have failed is it, of course, has the backing of Facebook, which is huge. So I think there's a lot of good possible crossover from that to people who aren't even aware of these things existing. Moving over to
I don't know,
SL.
because I have, I see a lot of Second Life people on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
And
right
I see
now.
a lot of advertising of Second Life on Facebook as well, so...
Ooh, actually, I mean, most of my friends are in Facebook too.
Yeah, so it's quite good. Hopefully there'll be some crossover, we'll see, but we'll see how it goes. As for other sort of viewers, I don't know, I can't really comment. I've logged into InWorlds once to get my name.
Yeah, I did that with Avination.
I did that there too, yeah.
Avination, yeah. Got my name in there and stuff, but that, I don't know if that flopped on what's happening with that. I've not been in there for months.
InWorlds is doing okay.
It's InWorlds. I know a few other store people do sell some things in InWorlds.
Right.
But I've never actually spent the time, mostly because they don't have Mesh yet either, do they?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, nor does Avination, I think.
But Kitely does, interestingly, although it's more, you can't really sell in Kitely, even though you have Kitely dollars there.
I don't know that one.
Kitely is using an interesting business model, which is quite exciting, in that they will give you land for free. You'll get a huge sim with 70,000 prims, I think it is.
Wow.
Free. And the way that they charge people is charging them by the hour.
Oh, God.
So, you
Not
think
sure I'd do
of
well
it
with
like,
that.
well, think of it like a phone contract. You can either pay as you go, or you can take out a contract. And say you have a silver contract, you have like about 50 regions, and you have like 200 hours a month for $20, something like that. It's so they're using the model of a mobile phone contract rather than using the paying for land. And what's making it good for them is that they're using Amazon cloud services. So when Sims aren't being used, they are basically closed down. So if no one is in the forest, there is no forest.
That wouldn't work in SL for vendor-based systems, though, because your vendors could be on one sim and your store on another, and if nobody's on the vendor sim, then you would have to introduce bots, basically, to keep sims from idling.
And then you'd have to pay.
Exactly. So that wouldn't
Bots
really
would have to pay. Yeah.
that wouldn't really work. Sure, at least for SL, unfortunately. If Sims, I know they had talked about doing the sim idle when no avatars were on the sim for a certain amount of time in SL, and that was shot down very quickly because of vendor systems.
Yeah.
For example, I use one called BSM, which is a remote-based vendor system. There are no items in my vendors in my store. They're
Right.
scripts, and they
Right.
pull an item from a server.
Right, they come from a Dropbox.
That's right, on a different sim. It used to be, I think the original theory was to prevent copybotting, which is, for a home and garden designers, kind of ridiculous because our stuff is sitting there. You can just take it if you're a copybotter. Not with mesh, of course, but...
Ignore the demo there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't pay attention to the stuff rezzed everywhere.
Yes.
So it's kind of redundant. However, for myself, when I switched to it, I was sold on the whole copybot prevention thing. But then I realized very quickly, oh, if I have updates to do, all I have to do is drop them in this box rather than going around to every single vendor on every single sim.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It's so much simpler, and it makes admin so much easier. You can redeliver things from the internet. I don't even have to be at my computer, and I can redeliver things. So it makes a
does sound
humongous
fantastic.
difference. Yes, but if SimIdle was ever introduced, it would be ruined.
Yeah. I think that the way that stuff like Kitely will survive, if it does, is if there is a marketplace. An offline marketplace would be the only way because of this thing with vendors.
Yeah, I think it would need to be, you would probably need to have everything sold through a central marketplace. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you could still do it as in, you know, the SL buy function, which some stores do still use. But it's just, if you're selling more products, it's much easier and more efficient to use a vendor system. And it's easier for customers as well, because we are only one person, most of us. Very, very few store owners are multiple people. And we do have to do things like take care of our children and sleep and eat and, you know, basic life things that don't involve being tied to a computer.
So high maintenance.
Occasionally I do like to leave. I know. Oh, well, I don't know what sleep is, but the rest of it, I do sometimes like to leave my house. I mean, I have heard it's nice outside. I have yet to believe it's actually June, but I stuck my head out the window earlier today, and then I got scared and came back in. No, but
It's called the sun.
yeah, I know.
No,
Can you believe it?
Not in England at the moment.
No, not in
Oh,
Scotland
no.
either.
It's called the rain.
Oh my God.
Never-ending rain. But with these systems, a lot of them are really simple. Like, I've got an app on my phone that I can just touch a button and I can send something to somebody. So it makes things so much easier. And less stress for customers because they have redelivery terminals and gift cards and things that don't involve waiting for me to get off my backside and get on the computer.
That does sound good.
Yes, it is. Much better.
So, where do you think, and I'm going to start the other end, I'm going to start with Loz this time. Next year is going to be SL9B, and we should, with luck, we should all be back talking about what we're up to in a year's time. Where do you think you, the grid, your store will be in a year's time? What's your game plan for a year's time?
I'm really trying to just grow kind of organically, I guess, or naturally, slowly. I really don't know. I'm doing this because I love doing it. I don't know. I'm doing more of it now in SL than I am. I'm starting to switch from real life to SL more, actually. But I don't know. I hope I just make things that I don't know, bring more detailed and interesting things to mesh to people, I suppose. I'm not sure where the grid goes. I don't know. There's a lot of problems, I think, with the grid right now, where there has always been. I mean, just lag and all these other things. I'd love to see some of that go away, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really...
Yes. Yeah, you're not from around these parts, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I think just growing slowly, and just bringing more and more, hopefully, cool things into Second Life that I've done in real life. Because like I said, I do this for a living, so I'd like to bring some more complex things in, pushing the envelope more. I think with mesh and what you can do with it, possibly.
That's going to be exciting. That's going to be really exciting. Yes. Ulla, what about you?
Well, a year from now, I'm surprised I've made it this far. So I really don't know. My store's grown. I can't even imagine by how much. My store has grown exponentially just since I've moved on to the P. So I'm guessing that my next logical step would probably be to get my own sim at some point and spread my wings and fly away from the mama bird. And I really need to get my game on with mesh. I know Isla's been really pushy about it, and Maya makes me want to cry and stab my eyes. But it's a learning process. But I need to kind of push myself further with mesh. I like that my houses already have a lot of realism to them, like a house you would see driving down the street in your neighborhood, and I just kind of want to keep expanding with that and keep those kind of designs going and incorporate the mesh into it and just kind of see where I go from there.
Sounds great. Elle?
Well, a year from now, of course, I'll have taken over the nest entirely. This is where you guys find out how horribly non-ambitious I am. Just really what I've done over the past year is downsize. I mean, I had my own sim and I got rid of that. I just still have, of course, my main shop. So really, I'm kind of just figuring out, keep going like I'm going. I really don't have any bigger plans than that. I mean, certainly I always think of things I'd like to do on a small scale with the shop and also with the blog. But really my biggest obstacle / goal is friggin' mesh. So if I can ever get my brain to accept, see, yeah, Jack knows. Isla's already given me crap about it. I'm already getting crap from everybody. So my goal / obstacle would be mesh. I've taken mesh classes and I love it. I want to be able to do it, but my brain goes, nah. So, anyway, so I mean, certainly I would like to conquer that, and then kind of like Laz was saying, just sort of grow organically. Obviously, I always want to improve, but I don't have any big plans.
Okay, so Isla, is there going to be a second nest?
No. No. This one is way more than enough work for one person. No. For me personally, I want to grow and develop my mesh skills, my modeling skills, lighting, texturing. I just want to get better at what I'm doing. Half the time I feel like I'm just stabbing things in the dark. And, if I hit something, that's wonderful, but I'd like to be more accurate and maybe shed a bit more light on the situation. Not be so erratic. And just kind of get better as a builder and as a store, as a sim group. We have the Nest and the P, and it would be nice just to be able to incorporate more like Laws was saying about buildings, it's really all about going in and seeing the textures and the lighting baked in and making it look amazing. And if it does that, then people will like it and I will like it. So that's basically the plan for the year.
It sounds very good to me.
And making Elle and Ula learn mesh.
You're not the boss of me.
Says who?
Okay, I think we ought to be good and keep this to time, especially as we were very strict with the people in front of us. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you all very much for coming to see this, and thank you to my guests. Isla Gersh,
Thank you.
Elle Kirshner, Ula, I was going to say Ula Funky Junk, but Ula Coronet and Los Hyde.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pete. It's been great. And there will be some more talks later on at 4 p.m. There's Ekphrasis Live with Marcus Inkpen. That'll be in Auditorium C. I'm not sure which auditorium the next one will be in. Meet the fashion designers. Angie Mornington will be talking to Saffia Widderskins. After that, at 6 p.m, I'm taking my life in my hands because I'm having a Meet the Community with the Tinies.
Meet the community.
Yeah,
Oh, the
we
Tinies.
Sort of Meet the Community, and it's Tinies tonight. Last night was Doctor Who. So it's all the Doctor Who people. Tonight it's the Tinies, and I'm terrified. I think I may have to enlist a dragon to protect me. And after that, at 7 p.m, the last talk of the day is going to be Meet the Community, and it's the railroad people who run the amazing railway. I don't know if any of you have ridden the mainland railways. They are just incredible. If you find yourself with a spare afternoon, go over to Barger Junction, catch a train. They'll let you res the train, and you can just take the railroad all the way up, and it is just the most amazing experience. It really is. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll say goodbye for now.